What's going on, my one-wheelers and curb feelers? Welcome back to WTF. My name is D, and I'd like to thank you guys for coming to the channel. So we're gonna end up talking about 5 tips that I believe that beginners should know. And for all you OGs or even all you beginners who are watching this video, if there are some things that helped you out during your journey, whenever you started trying to ride one of these, make sure you go ahead and put them in the description below, because this is all about a community that is wanting to share information and make everybody just a little bit better and a little bit safer. And also, in case I haven't told you, I am a Blenders brand rep, and Blenders is an eyewear company. I am a Blenders brand rep, and we have everything from sunglasses to snow goggles to snow helmets, beanies, cases, masks, any and everything that you can think of. Make sure you head on over to blenderseyewear.com and make sure you use my promo code DZRD16 and be handsomely rewarded with 16% off. I've not been a fan of sunglasses at all during my entire life, but I tell you what, about 4 years ago, I was introduced to Blenders Eyewear, and these are the only sunglasses or snow goggles or whatever that I will wear on my face. So make sure you guys go ahead and check it out. They have some of the dopest styles that you can see. So now let's go ahead and get into those 5 tips that I believe beginners should know. Tip number 1, ride on asphalt. Now, when I first got into this journey, there was a bunch of people who told me, hey, go ahead and start off on grass. For one, it's a lot more cushion whenever you fall, and for 2, it'll help you build up strength in your foot and calf muscles. And so while I can understand that logic, for me personally, I had a lot more success riding on asphalt. I tried several different times to, excuse the wind, I'm not sure how much wind this is picking up, but there are several different times where I tried to ride on grass and it just wasn't working for me. I was struggling too much to try to stay up and try to stay balanced. So for me, being able to ride on asphalt provided, 1, a lot more stability for me. 2, it instilled a little bit more confidence in me. What I wanted to make sure is, so what I think that starting off on grass or dirt or anything like that robs you of is to have a true assessment of what it takes to move this board back and forth. And I think the only way that you can do that is if you have a semi-pristine piece of real estate that you know what it takes, no joke, you know what it takes to move the board back and forth, left to right. There is no obstructions or anything like that, whereas when you're on the grass, you have bumps, lumps, there's different consistencies of the grass. You know, you can have taller grass, you have shorter blade grass, and all of that is going to change the feel of how you're going to ride this board. So starting off on concrete or asphalt, I think is your best bet. Tip number 2, create yourself an obstacle course. So what you're seeing now is a course that I ended up setting up along my driveway, and all I used was some cones that I got, I think, from either Dick's or Dick's Sporting Goods or either Amazon, and I just set them up about 10 to 12 feet apart and just started doing I set up a slalom and then just started carving in and out of them. And I had these cones from when I was teaching my daughter how to drive, and I just ended up keeping them. But even if you don't have cones, walk around your house, find some big rocks or something like that, and then just lay them out 10 to 15 feet apart, and then just start carving in and out of them. And then once you become a little bit better, you can go ahead and bring those, you can go ahead and shorten the distance in between the two. And I think what this will allow you to do, it will allow you to start to learn the maneuverability it takes to, 1, it'll start to help you learn how to carve, because you have kind of that waving in and out motion, so it helps with carving, and also it helps with your turning. It's just however you want to work it, but I think that having cones and trying to set up an obstacle course will definitely help you in the long run. So tip number 3, use Fangs. Now, this is a personal preference, but to me, Fangs is a must-have as far as an accessory. And so what Fangs are is it's little rollers that you put at the front of the board, so in case there's a nosedive, bam, in case there's a nosedive, you can actually recover for it. So I have Fangs on here. They're, like I said, little rollers that are right here at the front of the board. And so for a beginner, a nosedive is going to happen. There is no way around it. If you're riding on this board for any amount of time, you're going to experience a nosedive. And so what I believe, as far as for a beginner, I believe that having Fangs will assist. It won't totally get rid of you being thrown off the board, but I think it does minimize the amount of damage you're gonna do to yourself and to the board if you have Fangs on. Tip number 4, don't go above your ability starting out. So when first starting out on one of these things, you can learn how to ride one of these things in a relatively quick amount of time. You know, there's some people who it takes 10 minutes to a half hour and they're already upright and rolling. Now granted, they're still a little wobbly and everything like that, but for all intents and purposes, they're able to float around on this thing and not have much of a problem. Now, the problem that comes into play is when you do start feeling comfortable and then you want to start pushing the limits. You want to start going just a little bit faster. You want to start carving in and out just a little bit more aggressively. And so what this will do is this will once again lull you into a false sense of security, because your foot muscles, your calf muscles, they're not ready for fast acceleration, long distances, because you will start to experience fatigue in your legs. Make sure you don't try to ride past your abilities, at least starting off. Wait until you get your legs up under you, you start to get comfortable with the one wheel, and then your legs become stronger. And tip number 5, everybody, practice, practice, practice.
We talking about practice.
Getting the fundamentals down on this thing is going to help you in the long run. And without getting those fundamentals down, you're never truly gonna master this board. Learning how to mount, learning how to dismount, learning how to turn, learning how, even just rocking back and forth like I'm showing you right now, rocking back and forth, that allowed me to be able to learn this board a little bit better. And just doing something like that right before I started off means the world. And so I do this each and every time. Even though I don't need to, I do it each and every time. Repetition is a key. Just keep working on those fundamentals, and pretty soon you'll be out there with the groups and doing things that you never thought that you would be able to. So just keep practicing, everybody. And that's going to lead me into my +1. Please, please, please wear your PPE, your protective equipment. Now, I think at the very least, if you're just starting out, you need to have wrist guards and you need to have a brain bucket on. So having some type of traumatic brain injury or TBI, that's not gonna look good on your resume at all. Now, your higher speed crashes, like with nosedives, that is usually going to jack up your collarbone. But with the lower speed injuries, that is normally your wrist, because of the way people fall. When you fall down on these boards, you're normally trying to break your fall with your wrists, and that's where a lot of people end up with broken wrists and different things like that. I'm an older guy. I ain't trying to come out here and break a hip or anything like that. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm as safe as possible so I can enjoy this wonderful hobby that we all love and enjoy. So everybody, there you have it. You have my 5 +1 tips for beginners for this one wheel. Now, if this video tickled your fancy, please go ahead and smash that like button. And if you like the channel, make sure you go ahead and hit the subscribe button, because we are growing this wonderful WTF community. And I want each and every one of you to be a part of it. I want to keep growing this channel, and I want to keep learning from each and every one of you. And now, everybody, without any further ado, we are going to go into the beautiful board segment. And here we go. And as always, remember, everyone deployed. And I'm out.